Ever notice how kids just seem to get things? It's like they have this secret manual of life that we somehow misplaced.
Right.
So today, we're diving deep into that almost magical intuition kids have.
It's a fascinating topic.
And, maybe we can even learn a thing or two ourselves along the way.
Am I ready?
Our main source is this article that really digs into the why behind these sharp instincts. Like, is it something we actually lose with age?
That's a great question.
Or is it more like, a muscle we forget to use?
The article actually brings up a really interesting point about that right off the bat. It talks about how kids will often make decisions based on a feeling they can't explain.
Oh, absolutely.
And then those decisions often turn out to be spot on.
All the time. It's like my niece, she can size up a new babysitter in like 2 seconds. Or she just knows when I'm trying to hide a surprise. I don't even know how they do that, especially when they're still like figuring out their left from their right.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's all about how their brains are literally wired.
Okay, so tell me more.
So our big adult brains rely heavily on the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, the logic center.
Right, for logic and planning. But a kid's still under construction.
Makes sense.
They're operating more from their limbic system, the emotional center.
So we're all pros and cons, and they're just going with their gut.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And there's more and more research suggesting those gut feelings are based on some pretty sophisticated processing. Like the article mentioned this study about how kids are way better at reading facial expressions than adults are to determine if someone's trustworthy.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because they're picking up on these subtle cues that our adult brains just kind of filter out.
Right.
Because we're so used to, our logical processes.
It makes you wonder what else they're noticing that we just totally miss because we're so stuck in our heads.
Exactly. And it's not just about social situations either. This article also gets into this fascinating concept called naive physics.
Naive physics. Okay, now I need to hear more about this. Okay, naive physics. So are we saying kids are like secretly physics geniuses?
Not quite geniuses, but they do seem to have this like inborn understanding of how the physical world works, even without, ever taking a physics class.
Right, right.
It's like they're constantly running experiments.
That's so true.
Testing out gravity, dropping things.
Like my nephew, he loves throwing his food on the floor, and it's every time, it's like he's testing it.
Exactly.
To see if maybe this time it'll be different.
And these little experiments, they're actually building like these complex models in their brains.
Wow.
The article even mentioned a study, I think it was with 4-year-olds. They could predict the path of a moving object even when it disappeared behind something.
No way.
Yeah. Like they just knew that the object was still there even though they couldn't see it anymore.
That's incredible. Okay, but at what point do we lose that?
That is the $1 million question.
Because we're all born with it.
Right. It seems like it, but it's probably a combination of things. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
As we get older, our education system really emphasizes logic.
Right. Critical thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those are important.
Of course.
But it can sometimes, overshadow the intuitive way, the knowing.
Yeah. It's like we're almost trained out of it in a way.
In a way, yeah. And then on top of that,
yeah,
there's just the sheer volume of information that we're dealing with as adults.
Oh, it's constant.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's like our intuition is this quiet little whisper.
And we can't even hear it.
Exactly.
With all the noise.
But, and this is the good news.
Okay, good.
It doesn't go away completely.
Okay.
It's like a muscle we can strengthen.
So how do we do that? How do we work out our intuition muscle? So how do we do that? How do we work out our intuition muscle? What do we have to do? Start taking intuition boot camps.
Not quite a boot camp, but it does take a little effort. The article had some really good tips, though.
Okay, lay them on me. I'm ready.
So one of the biggest things is mindfulness.
Yeah.
Just taking some time to quiet the mental noise.
Makes sense. I mean, we're always going. It's no wonder we can't hear anything else.
Exactly. Even just a few minutes a day can make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of tune in to what's going on internally.
Mm-hmm.
Notice those little nudges.
Those gut feelings.
Yes.
Okay. What else?
Oh, and this one might sound small, but trust your gut on those little decisions.
Like what to eat for lunch?
Exactly. Or whether to take a different route home. Because those little decisions, those are actually little opportunities to practice.
Oh, I like that.
And the more you do it, the more you start to trust those instincts.
It's like anything else, right?
Exactly.
The more you do it, the better you get. What about creative stuff? The article mentioned that too.
Yes. Things like painting, writing, even just doodling.
Yeah.
Anything that helps you kind of tap into that left logical way of thinking.
I love that. It's like when you get so into a creative project,
Yes.
you lose all track of time. You're just in the flow.
Exactly. Because that's where your intuition can really come out and play.
This has been so fascinating. So kids are these little intuition superheroes, but it's not like they have superpowers.
Right.
It's just how their brains are wired.
Exactly.
But then the good news is we can get a little bit of that back.
Absolutely. We can.
We just have to like relearn how to listen to ourselves.
Exactly.
Well, I am feeling very inspired.
Me too.
So for everyone listening, if you're ready to tap back into that intuition, remember, baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yeah. You don't have to become an intuition expert overnight. Just start paying attention to those little nudges and see where they lead you. Who knows? You might surprise yourself. And that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep those brains firing, and most importantly, keep trusting those gut feelings. We'll see you next time.